Today we're going to be talking about some items that you should have with you in the woods if you're going to head out hunting this season. My name is Dave Tim from Guns and Tactics. Thank you guys very much for spending a few minutes of your day checking out this video with me. And this is for all of the hunters out there as we get into fall hunting season, at least in Minnesota, is pretty much a statewide holiday, and I'm sure it is throughout the country as well. So whatever you're going to be hunting, I wish you the best of luck and good safety, and hopefully you have some good weather. Today we're going to be talking about not necessarily a survival kit per se, but definitely some items that would be really nice to have in the woods in case something unexpected were to happen. Maybe you get lost, maybe you have to spend the night out there, you have car trouble, someone in your hunting party needs your attention, you can't leave them, whatever it might be. Some things that you definitely might want to consider having with you. Some things are really nice to have, some things are need to have, and then we're also going to talk about some things that I don't have in this kit but I would normally have with me in like a waist bag or a backpack if I was going out hunting. Now, quick story. And actually, I got some family out in the woods here getting ready, doing stands and whatnot. But back in '91, my cousin and I were trick-or-treating in the blizzard, and we were talking about how excited we were to get to go deer hunting. And then sure enough, just a couple weeks later, Beau gets lost in the woods. Now, he'll blame it on me, I'm sure, if he ever told the story, but Beau gets lost in the woods, I find him, and then we end up having to spend the night out in our childhood fort on our property. And we made it, we got home just fine, but this was back in the day when there was no search parties and drones and everything like that. And then when we got home, sure did we have it coming to us. But definitely looking back in hindsight, I think we would have definitely appreciated to have some of this stuff versus our little Boy Scout survival kit, which we made do with. And
oh, hey there, cuz, what you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, my cousin Beau.
I was just prepping the deer stand and, getting everything ready for the big opener weekend. And you're making another one of your videos for the intercom.
Yeah, doing a little like hunter safety kit, kind of some things that I think would have been nice to have when you and I got stuck and lost in the woods.
It sure is nice. So, how many subscriptions do you have these days?
To about 55,000 subscribers.
You don't say. Wow. It's been a while. And Clever, how the heck are you, sir?
Good, it's good to be back.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you forever, Clever. You are such a fine gentleman helping Dave out with all these videos. It's good to see you, sir.
Glad to be here.
Is there any way I can talk you into coming out to the deer stand, the deer shack this weekend?
I'm not huge into hunting, but maybe with your safety, I'll give it a shot.
Well, that sounds fair. You know what? When you guys are done here, Mon's making some tater tot hot dish. Why don't you come on by the shack for a little tater tot hot dish?
Oh, I have to do that.
You got it. So you guys are making a safety video, eh?
Yeah, just doing a little hunter safety kind of survival kit. Some things that are, kind of nice to have in the woods. Some things that I wish you and I would have had.
Hey, did you tell him the story about '91 when we were trick-or-treating and then got stuck in the woods? Well, Dave, I won't keep you. I know you got to make your videos, and your subscriptioners are really excited on the intercom there. And I just got to say, you're darn tootin'. This looks like you're doing some good service for the safety hunters and all the Blaze Orange Army out there and all the states. We wish you a safe and happy hunting weekend. I gotta go check on the kids. They're up playing duck, duck, gray duck. Those darn little whippersnappers are running around. Take care now.
Yeah, sure, you betcha.
All right, take care. Yeah, Trevor, you have to come over for tater tot hot dish. Don't tell anybody, but the secret ingredient is top the tater. Anyways, let's get right to it. First things first, if you're gonna head into the woods, obviously dress accordingly. As my cousin Beau was wearing, Blaze Orange, very important to have a hat. Obviously, we're not hunting yet, so I don't have my high-vis stuff, but it's actually just off camera. I shed a layer because it's actually pretty warm. But make sure you dress appropriately from head to toe. So a bright colored hat, the appropriate layers, bright color orange clothing or high-vis green, depending on what your state allows, layered pants, long underwear might not be a bad idea depending on the weather, good quality socks and footwear. And then in my pack, I also would recommend carrying a spare socks, gloves, things like that, just to kind of layer up in case the weather adjusts. You can shed layers, add layers, so you're comfortable. That is kind of like your first line of defense against the elements is what you're wearing. That's a whole nother video. We're not going to talk about that, but just a quick note on it. What we're going to be talking about today is the items on the table, things that would be nice to have in the woods in case you had to spend an unexpected amount of time. First, we're going to talk about communication. Number one, have a plan. Make sure you're telling somebody where you're going. Show them on the map where you're going to park, where your stand is, where your hunting area is, where you'd potentially walk, where your borders are. And then also have a plan with them of when you're supposed to be back. So if you are not back or if you haven't checked in, they know to, start sending someone to look for you or start checking in. Having a communication device. Most people, it's going to be their phone. Make sure your phone has service where you're going. If not, maybe invest in some walkie-talkies or some radios or something like that that you can still communicate with somebody in case there was an emergency. I know some hunters who hunt in very remote areas, they'll also even carry flares as a signaling device if there was an emergency. Obviously be careful with burning restrictions and fire risks, but a communication device. After that, one of the items that pretty much every hunter is probably going to have with them anyway is a knife of some sort to do field dressing. But a good quality knife, if you did have to make a shelter, start fire, general kind of bushcraft type stuff, a good quality knife is never going to serve you wrong. I have my SE6 right here. This thing has just been a workhorse. I love this knife. I've had it for many years and it just works really well. I have it in a sheath. I keep it sharp, and then as a fail-safe on the back of the sheath, I also have a ferro rod and a needle, just as kind of, last resort type stuff. But anytime I go into the woods, no matter what I'm doing, I pretty much have this knife. Now, speaking of cutting tools, you may have a small saw or a hatchet or something with you, which is totally fine. Maybe you have to dress up some limbs to get to your stand or anything like that. But if you had to, this could definitely process firewood a lot quicker than with a knife and using either a baton and, kind of hatcheting method. But something like this might come in handy, and it kind of depends if you're going to be carrying something like this anyway, but just realize it could have more than one purpose. Another really important item to have is a flashlight. I love having a good quality flashlight. Do not rely on your phone. You're going to see that, I guarantee it. But having a good flashlight not only can help you find down game, find your stand, maybe find a lost item, but it can also be used to signal as well. It's dark out. You hear someone, hey, I'm over here. You could very easily signal to somebody or signal to a drone or a helicopter or something like that much easier. So having a good quality flashlight and maybe some spare batteries is also a great idea. Now, one of the things that I kind of have as a core is this little lanyard. And I made this back when I wanted to be like a bushcrafter. True story, one of my very first YouTube videos was actually about outdoor safety stuff because I wanted to be a bushcraft content creator. But this little lanyard has a small little LED light. Again, 1 is none, 2 is 1. So the small little light can help just illuminate the site, whatever it might be. Just a handy little thing to have. I do have another ferro rod and magnesium so I could start fire if I needed to, just with a lanyard. And then I have this kind of little survival gizmo. It has thermometer, a whistle, magnifying glass, compass. In the event I was hurt, something like that, and maybe I couldn't yell, I could at least hopefully blow the whistle to signal for help. So it's just something that doesn't take up a lot of weight, very handy, has multi-uses, can also get my kids' attention, works out really well, so I keep this in there. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes, this small bag. I generally have this either inside my waist pack or on my belt, and this is just a small little molly pouch so you can run it through belt. You can attach it to something else, but this is kind of like a little mini survival kit, and all of the things in here are super handy to have in the event that I would be ever stuck out in the woods. More fire making supplies. The one thing I don't have in here is a United Survival Technologies beefy ferro rod, like their metal match is what they call it. And the reason why I don't have it is I actually gave it away to a young Boy Scout in my family. He needed one. I'm not going hunting this year. I wanted to make sure he had it. So that would normally be at the top of my bag right here. So don't think that I'm ignoring having a good quality striking surface and rod. Waterproof match container with some strike anywhere matches, super handy to have. If I can start a fire with a match and it's easy, that's why I have those. I have some tinder, which is just nothing more than Vaseline soaked cotton balls, and in that UST metal match there's an empty container in the handle. I keep some of these in there as well. You just tear these apart and they take a strike very well, and it's super easy to start a fire with that. Keep another flashlight in there. Again, 1 is none, 2 is 1. I have some extra batteries, 4 flashlights for GPS devices, for walkie-talkies, whatever. All super handy to have. Vaseline, I could use this as chapstick, wound treatment to make tinder, super handy. Some more tinder. A compass definitely helps to know where you're going. If you kind of know the rough terrain of where you're at, having a compass is super nice to have. I was lucky I grew up in the Boy Scouts, so orientation was something that was taught to us, and believe it or not, I still remember, red in the shed, works out really handy to have there. Some needles, in case I needed to sew. I do usually have some paracord. Again, I gave that away. We'll save the first aid kit stuff here. And now let's talk about water purification. In Minnesota, we obviously will have snow and ice most of the time, so that can make a great way for us to gather water. As far as rough purification, these coffee filters work good just to get out like some of the sand and grit. Now, it doesn't make it safe to drink, but it just makes it a little cleaner. And then as far as making it safe, I do have some of these water purification tablets, and then I do have a soft bladder here that I can fill with water and use the appropriate tablet to make that water safe to drink. So this helps clean it a little bit ahead of time. This helps purify it, and this is a good storage container. So now I have drinking water, which is actually really, really important. You can also carry an Nalgene or a water bottle or something with you. Fishing stuff, I had it in there because everybody says online you have to have fishing stuff. Truth of the matter is, I'm a really crappy fisherman, so I'm not going to hold a whole lot of breath that I'm going to be able to catch a meal, so I'm just whatever. They don't take up too much weight. You could use them to make snares and stuff like that. Again, I have a gun with me. I'm hunting. Hopefully I could maybe find some game or whatever, or don't be afraid to, you know, pack snack bars, energy bars, whatever. I don't keep them in this kit because I just keep them in my pockets. Chapstick, same thing we talked about before. I can make stuff with tinder with it, comfort item, some small bags, just you never know when you might need to store something, maybe some food items or anything like that. And then as far as shelter, I do keep an emergency bivy with me, or a little blanket, and this just adds another layer. It could help reflect. It's bright orange. I could use it for signaling. Just doesn't take up much size or weight. Just a really nice handy thing to have. Speaking of other nice things to have, magnifying glass. Yeah, you can technically start fires. You can also use it to see better if you had like an injury or something. Signaling mirror, something again that doesn't take up a whole lot of weight. You can maybe use it to look at an injury. Easy, nice items to have. And then as far as first aid, I just have a small little boo-boo kit. I have a sling, some tape, and then some bandages and basic dressings. Now, am I gonna be able to treat a gunshot wound with this? Nah, probably not. So now in the day and age of tourniquets, I usually have a tourniquet attached to the sling of my rifle or in my pocket. I'm a firm believer in tourniquets. And the reality is it probably wouldn't hurt to add a little bit more trauma items to this bag as well. But in the event I had some small boo-boos or whatever, I do have minimal items. So that's just some of the stuff that I carry, and a lot of it has different purposes. We could probably make a whole other video on how to use different parts of this and how it could be reused, but these are just some of the items I have. Again, go in with a plan, communicate with somebody, be safe, and please, please, please be sure of your target and beyond. There's a lot of hunting accidents that happen all the time that are totally preventable, and we want to make sure that we are all hunting safely. Whenever you're getting in and out of your stand, make sure the firearm's unloaded, slung, climb into your stand, get safe, and then you can go ahead and make ready for the appropriate condition of your hunting situation. We want to make sure we have a safe and happy hunting season, and I hope you guys harvest the game of your choice. If you guys have any questions about this or anything else firearms related, go ahead and send a question to the email address shown below. That is theqa@gunsandtactics.com. We answer all your questions and we give away some prizes as well, thanks to our sponsors. So please send a question in. If you like the content, give us a like, share, and subscribe. Check us out online, social media. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Tater tot hot dish time! We work really hard to make content that we hope you as a shooter would enjoy. Subscribe to our channel, check out our featured videos and playlists, and if you have a question firearms related, go ahead and send an email to the address shown on the screen to be entered into our monthly QA series.